Welcome back, guys. We're going to use a weight to get into some piriformis strengthening. So we're going to do some movements that really tap into the glute area to not only stretch it, but strengthen it. So we're going to be working through different ranges of motion and really how to get into that piriformis and functionally move from the hip a little bit better as well. Okay, so I'm using a weight. You can use a kettlebell. You can use a jug of water. You can use whatever feels best for you, okay? Or maybe you don't use any weight to start with, and that's totally okay as well. So I'm going to show you here. So we're just going to start with our foot in the back, and then we're going to take that hip and lead it back. So because my back foot is just kind of there as a kickstand, all my weight is going to be focused on my front leg. So this is, per se, I'm working through some piriformis syndrome stuff on my right side. I've already addressed a lot of it. I've moved forward through it. Now I'm working on strengthening. Okay, so here, this back foot is really just for a kickstand. So there's not a lot of pressure, so I'm not putting pressure back. But what I want to start with is getting into my hip. So I'm going to lead from my hip here and just allow the weight to kind of glide down my leg as I keep a flat back and then come up. What you want to think about is this hip bone coming forward into your thigh so that you can maintain a flat back, rib cage down, and squeeze in those abs, okay? So lead from my hip, 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 hip back. Let that weight just glide down all the way as far as you can until you feel a stretch into that hamstring and glute, press through the heel, and squeeze and stand, okay? So this leg is supporting you, but all the weight is into that front leg. It's almost like a single leg deadlift, but without as much pressure, okay? Keeping that rib cage down, leading from the hip, glide that weight down along you, and then press through that heel and stand. So you should notice it really lighting up in the glute and that hamstring if you're doing it correctly. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one we want to do is really getting into kind of the outside of the hip a little bit more, right around where that piriformis will probably be rotating around. So now we're going to do essentially a deadlift, but we're going to add a little twist. So it's going to be a deadlift, so drop that hip back, but I want you to lead to the opposite direction. So as that hip draws back, we're going to let that weight glide toward the opposite foot and then squeeze and come back. So now my weight is going toward my back leg because notice how it's planted. So I'm going toward this hip as I reach toward the opposite foot and then squeeze it back. Opposite and squeeze. Opposite and squeeze. A little funky, a little funny. If you're doing it at the gym, people will be like, what the heck is that person doing? But I promise you, it's going to get into those hips in a way more functional way. And because you're not really bending at the knees much, and you're actually putting weight and distributing it in different ways, it's very functional for the feet, and it doesn't put any strain or pressure onto the knees, okay? So a great way to start to get into that one.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying it. Don't forget to like and comment below to let me know what you think, and subscribe so you don't miss any in the future.